Welcome to the Fish House Nation podcast. We are at the St. Paul Ice Show, and we're fortunate to talk to just a ton of people around the ice fishing industry. Today we're joined by Darren Amundson from FishDonkey. It is a fishing tournament app. And Darren, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about FishDonkey. What is it, and where can people find it?
So FishDonkey is an app that you can use to create and run fishing tournaments on a mobile phone. It allows you to have virtual tournaments that can be distributed over larger geographic areas and over longer periods of time, or you can just run a one-day event. It's available on the Android, on Google Play Store, and the iOS version is on the Apple Play Store, in the Apple Store.
Where'd you come up with the idea for this?
Came up with it when I was living down in Texas. I was talking to a fisheries chief down there, kind of like our Minnesota DNR, head of the fisheries down in Texas, and he was talking about how tournament fish die after tournaments. There's a study they did that showed 5 days after a tournament, 42% of the largemouth bass were dying within 5 days. And I was kind of amazed by that, but it was also, while I was talking to him, it was at the same time I was talking about building this app for catch and release in order to support tournaments and take the cheating ability out of catch and release. So we built anti-cheating technology into our app to make sure all photos are authenticated, and all of that just kind of came together that this is a good thing to do right now. I also really looked at how many people are really using mobile phones, and it's ubiquitous now. But at the time when we first started building it, it was like not completely everyone was using it. It was like, well, there's certain ages that aren't using it. But I got on a plane one day and I looked around, and there were just everybody on there, 70-plus-year-old people, they're all using a phone. And I'm like, nope, this is the time to start this company.
Yeah, so this isn't the only thing you're doing right now. What's your background, and how'd you get involved with being able to do stuff like this?
So my background is I'm an electrical engineer and from the University of Minnesota, and then I went to business school at MIT, and I really went there to study how to build high technology companies and how to do startups. And so when I got out of MIT, I first started working for a technology consulting company, and it was during the dot-com crash. Things went bad, and I was forced to find another job or start a company, and I started my first company. That's always what I wanted to do anyway. And it was successful, and we kept doing it, and it's something that I still run. It's been able to help pay my salary ever since the year 2001 or whenever it was that I actually left that job. I've just been my own boss since then, and it's allowed me to work on this company, FishDonkey, which is really my passion right now. That's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah, that's really awesome. If someone wanted to start a tournament on FishDonkey, how does it work? How do they do it?
So you download the app, and there's a button right on there that says set up a tournament. You can literally create a tournament on the app in less than 5 minutes. You can choose your species, and then you can enter any species. It doesn't have to just be standard bass or crappie. You can actually name them anything you want. It's literally any kind of fish. You choose your species first, and then we have several categories that we will rank species in, which would be like by largest, by stringer. We have a wild card category, which is just a random winner, and you pick these species. We also have a Grand Slam, which is my favorite, which is a combination of 3 species. If you catch 10 walleyes, 10 crappies, 10 bass, and those are your 3 species in the Grand Slam, it'll pick the largest of each species and give you a total score. And so you just go through, you decide what you want to have, in your tournament, and hit enter, and there it is. It's live. If you set a price, $20 entry fee, it doesn't cost you anything as a host. You just enter your $20 entry fee, and people will join via the app with a credit card, and FishDonkey gets a small fee on top of that. It's kind of like paying sales tax. So they'll pay $23, FishDonkey gets $3, the tournament host gets $20. It costs the tournament host nothing to set up the tournament.
Yeah, and you can set them up for free as well, right?
Yeah, you can set them up for free as well. We started doing that because high school teams and students were unable to have credit cards and unable to join, so we made a free version. We just made it free. You can enter, as long as you're not charging an entry fee, you can run a free tournament, which has really actually helped our company grow faster, because a lot of people want to try it out first, and they enter just a free contest, just try it out, and then they come back and then they run a real tournament the next time.
Yeah, you've got some really big tournaments, and we're going to get into that in a second, but if somebody wanted to, let's say they're going to go up for the weekend with 8 buddies, and they wanted to start a tournament within just those 8 guys, they can do that. It's not like you need to come up with something huge to do this.
Right. Yeah, you can do that. I'm personally not a fan of it.
Yeah.
And I think everybody kind of naturally goes like, yeah, me and my 8 buddies could do it. But the reason I don't like it is, if you're fishing with your 8 buddies and you say you want to do largest fish, you're probably not going to sit there and because with the app you're going to want to document it, and then really you're documenting it with your phone, and you're videoing the release, and you're really proving that you caught that fish. But if you're really out there with your 8 buddies, you believe them. I mean, hey, it's 27. Darn, Jake got the biggest one again, or
Yeah.
But anytime then you go beyond that small circle of friends, then it's always going to be like, well, how do we know they really caught this fish? And it just takes all the cheating out of it. It's keeps everybody honest.
Yeah. So you guys, I remember when the AIM Walleye Tour first started, and it was really kind of the first tournament series where they were doing catch and release, and that's something where it's police and it's people there. But let's say we wanted to start a tournament that would be, let's say we're going to do a tournament that was only for hard-sided fish houses, and we were going to put $5,000 up on the line and just let anybody go out and do it. This allows us, for anybody and everybody, not just people who would be on a tour or something, to be able to participate. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah, it's very cool. And there's also so the way I think we are changing the industry, I think in the long term, is traditionally you run a tournament on one small geographic location on one lake, because you have to bring these fish back and weigh them at the end of the day. So not only did we not have to weigh the fish and save more fish, but now we're released from that. So now we don't have to run a tournament on one lake in one location. We can suddenly, if I'm Brett Favre and I have 1 million followers on Facebook, I can now interact with all 1 million of my fans, or all 1 million of my customers, and have them join my tournament. So in the past, if you were, say, a large retailer, you probably wouldn't run any tournaments yourself, because it would take a lot of resources to run this tournament on this real small area. It just wouldn't be worth your time. You'd have to set up porta potties and food and all these permits and all this stuff. So instead, what you would do is probably just give your products away to people, distribute it all over, and you'd get a better reach, and you could give your products away. But now I think with FishDonkey and what's starting to catch on, and you guys see that, is now a retailer actually can run a tournament, because all you really got to do is set it up, and the tournament's going to run itself. It's automated. It's going to take all the entries. It's going to automatically sort them on the leaderboards, and at the end, you're going to get great social media out of it. And you can just look at the winners, verify that those fish are correct. Instead of having to weigh 1,000 fish at the end of the day, you can check the 3 winners and just look them over really closely, and you can fish in your own tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's one thing that we've thought about on the catch cover end, is to have a big tournament over a weekend, but when we're talking about wintertime, if a snowstorm or something like that comes in, or maybe we schedule it for January 10th and our ice comes in late and we just can't get on that ice, we put all that work into promoting a tournament we can't have. Whereas with this, basically the way our Shack Slam works, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, is that anybody can fish anywhere and can all be part of the tournament.
Yeah.
So we're not really dependent on weather, or if somebody can't get out on this day, maybe they can fish it the next day. So it makes it work out for everybody.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of these tournaments you got coming up.
Sure.
Last year, you guys did a big one with Uncut Angling. How did that go?
Terrific. Yeah, good for business.
Yeah,
very good. And working with a superstar, Aaron Weeb from Uncut Angling, and he's a very smart guy, very detail oriented. it was very good for business, and we want to do more. And there's probably more coming here soon.
So what do you got coming up right now? You guys have like this little menu set up in your booth. It's kind of cool how you did it. Your wife is up in the booth, and I got a chance to talk to her last night, and she's super brilliant too. And the things she did in the booth, I mean, it looks really cool. It's a very cool booth.
She's smart. Yeah, she put the menu together. I totally back it. It's a great idea because I knew we wanted to talk about some of the highlights, some of the tournaments that are on our platform while we're at this ice show. And we've got some good ones here. We've got Nicole Stone and Anna on Ice, 2 female YouTube stars. You can go out and fish with them. It's walleye only, but you can be anywhere. You can even be on open water for that one. Although I don't know where we're going to find a lot of open water for walleye fishing in the end of January, but maybe out in Washington or something in the Columbia River. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I think that they're doing that's really neat, which we're starting to see a little bit, is they're looking for a super fan. And so if you're the super fan of Nicole and Anna on Ice, Nicole Stone and Anna on Ice, then you and you submit fish and you win, and you're submitting along with it the right kind of media and what they're looking for, you could win a trip with Minnesota Bound to be on TV in 2020 on ABC. So I think that's cool that people are starting to look for like the super fan.
Sure.
But that's just the first one. The second one, you guys, is actually the Shack Slam, and the more we talk to people when they're walking by, the more I like it, because if you are actually fishing in a shack, there is no reason not to be in this tournament, because you're probably not going to join another tournament, because why would you ever want to leave they're so nice. Why would you want to leave the shack and go out and stand outside and fish in an ice tournament? Why not fish inside? And once if you're going to be fishing in here, you might as well join it. You're sitting here all day, $10, chance to win. It's a no-brainer. And the more people that come by our booth at the show, they're all liking the idea.
Yeah, with Shack Slam, it's a $5,000 guaranteed purse, just a $10 entry fee. So a lot of money out there, and right now there's a lot of house money in there. So really good odds to win some pretty good money at the Shack Slam.
Right. But correct me if I'm wrong too. I think the pot is also going to grow. Right. Depending on how many people join, that $5,000 pot could even get bigger.
Right. It's going to be 100% payout. So if we end up, bringing in $10,000, then it's a $10,000 prize pool, but guaranteed $5,000 prize pool in that tournament. So go to FishDonkey, look up Shack Slam, and make sure you join if you're fishing out of a hard-sided house. What else? Want to talk
a couple more? Yeah, a couple more here. So we've got the King of the Croy, which is a sturgeon tournament, and we have Darren Troseth running that. He is the Minnesota State record holder for the largest catch and release fish ever caught in Minnesota. Wow. You might have seen it. He was on the news last year. 78 3/4, I believe it was. Sturgeon through the ice is that whole thing is just an epic story. And so he's running that tournament. It's the King of the Croy. That one is 100% cash payout as well. And he makes it his tournament's set up to have a lot of random winners. Largest sturgeon. He has the largest sturgeon prize, and then he has a stringer of sturgeon, but then 80% of the payout is just based on if you catch any fish at all, your name goes in a hat, and they're going to pick out winners out of the hat for the rest of it. Another big one, and from a group, Women Anglers of Minnesota. They really were one of the first groups that helped FishDonkey get started. We talked to them at this show 2 years ago, and they believed in it, and they did the first Ice Queen last year, and it was very successful. I think at the time it was the biggest tournament we had on our platform, which had 500 entries, and it's ladies only, a stringer of 10 crappies, and this year they've actually added also a stringer of 10 walleye, and that is a very popular tournament, well run, with also great prizes. But it's ladies only.
Yeah, one thing we should clarify when you say a stringer of 10 walleye, it's a virtual stringer. Yeah. We're not holding up 10 walleye
right.
at a time.
Yeah, so. No, they're all, in their tournament, they ask for a video release, and so one of the reasons we do that is because it's good for the fishery, but also so someone doesn't throw the fish on the ice and then bring it back in and unthaw and remeasure it a second and a third time. You can still tell. You can tell in photos that nope, that's the same fish. But why even just put it back in, let it swim away? It's so much easier. We know that fish is gone. If you submitted a video, we don't have to check the photos very close.
Sure.
So, the next one here, I have not spent a lot of time on this, but it was fishermen helping fishermen go big or go home. I believe it's just, I don't know what they have for prizes. They're not listed here. I think it's just 100% cash payout, and we put it in the menu because I think Bonnie was talking to them, and they were really good people, and so we added them to the menu. We've been promoting it here at the show. And there's another one more here on the back page, which is going to be a big one, is the St. Paul Winter Carnival. In the past, historically, the St. Paul Winter Carnival had a fishing tournament, and then I guess what happened is it was just too much administration work to try to run it and organize, and so they just stopped doing it, and they haven't had it for years. And Bonnie actually took the lead on this, and she's a fan of the Winter Carnival, and they brought it back. So this year in the 7-county metro area, we are having a tournament: walleye, northern pike, and a stringer of 3 panfish. And then any other species can also be entered in the tournament, and they have great prizes coming, and they are going to crown the King of Winter.
Awesome.
So yeah, pretty cool.
So a lot of cool stuff going on at FishDonkey, and this is just kind of a taste. If you go on the app, you guys have a long list of all the different tournaments going on that people can join.
We've had over 1,000 tournaments on our platform so far, so we know it works. 40,000 fish submitted, and right now we're at 15,000 users. We're growing at about 5 times year over year. So hopefully next year when we come back and do this again, we'll have 75,000 users or maybe more. I don't know, and it'll help you run your tournament.
If you want more information, you can download that app for free, take a look at everything, and then if you do want to join a contest that costs money, at that point you put the credit card in. But just join the app. It's absolutely free. You can check it out, and we'd really love it for you hard house anglers that are out there to join us this winter. FishDonkey and Catch Cover getting together for Shack Slam. It's a $5,000 guaranteed prize pool. There's weekly prizes. The tournament goes all January long, so check it out at FishDonkey. And Darren, thanks for putting together FishDonkey, and thanks for stopping by the booth.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.